quickly. My name is Dirk Grunewald. I am the CEO of Digital Consulting House. And today we will talk about how I get my product master data clean. I appreciate you being here, making us part of our afternoon or of your lunchtime or of your late afternoon, depending on which time zone you are. And with me, I have a couple of people from my team, Mr. Samuel Grünbichler, who is the co-host, and Mr. Rai, who is our Director of Sales and Marketing, taking care of the organization. Thank you for that, by the way, Sumit. So, I jump right into the agenda. What are we going to talk about today? First of all, we'll discuss on, or we'll tell you who we are. We'll introduce us as a company, as an organization. And then I will hand over to Mr. Grünbichler, who is the main speaker of today, who will guide you first of all to the definitions. So what is product information management? And also what does clean really mean? Well, it's a little bit different than dirty laundry. So I will dive a little bit deeper into that. And how to build your data laundry enrichment operations. So not money laundry, data laundry as the purpose here. And we have some practical household tips from the practitioners as well. And we have a roundtable. Okay, so let's get started with who we are. Digital Consulting House.
Yes.
Was started Digital Consulting House was started 2013 by me and a couple of partners when I left an organization which was called Wholesaler, acquired by Informatica. So actually that was already at that time the leading vendor of product information management software.
Yeah.
And someone is talking, Munish. Are you talking to me or are you talking to someone else? Then I would ask you to mute yourself.
Dirk, just for a moment, I'm going to mute everyone. So
please
could you
mute
please
everyone.
Just unmute yourself and speak again, okay?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I think in 2 days, like today morning, she got up.
Could you please mute everyone?
Dirk, you have to.
Okay, very well. Back in business. Wholesaler, as I said, was at that time already one of the leading vendors of product information management software. I was running it from a professional services and implementation perspective, advisory. When Informatica took over, I decided to go on my own with my own company. 2015, we incorporated in Germany. And well, we have in our days locations almost around the world, in the US, in Mexico, in Germany and India. So we can almost go around the clock also when it comes to support. Our service menu includes things like PIM, MDM, governance and data strategy advisory. We help you also to select the right solutions and we will also implement the solutions and help you operating them or operating them for you as a service. We also specialize in database-based publications like print catalogs or PDF generation, data sheet generation by means of InDesigns and the respective plugins which there are on the market. We do integrations of MDM and PIM with other software by means of ETL, point-to-point, or event-based. Also, if your data is not in the right shape, normally, and I will come to that as well, we'll come to that, you want to start with the proper enterprise taxonomy. We help you build that and set up the governance, set up the stewardship. Also, we are in AI, machine learning, applications for PIM, for the data onboarding and enrichment, but recently also we started to turn it around, like using, for instance, the database of your MDM to well, ask questions to your company data in a natural language as well. That's one thing we will talk about in the next event. And we also do PIM training. The speakers of today, as I said, are Mr. Grünbichler, who here with us is a senior consultant and also from a sales and service perspective in charge of the DACH region, with focus on program and project management, but in particular data governance, data quality, data cleansing, enrichment, also doing MDM product evaluation and business process design and training. Right, I'm more on the technical side, and we have several other people in the company. You see a couple of pictures here. Right, and having said all this, I'd like to hand over to Mr. Grünbichler for the question of what is product information management.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I will cover some of the topics. What is product information management? What is clean data? Why do we need it? What is it good for? What are the advantages and how do we get it? So maybe most of you know what a PIM means and what a PIM is, but just for everyone, product information management is not only a software that you install and then you're set. It's more like a set of processes you need, and also standards in the company that help you get data into your systems, have them prepared as you need them, with the main goal to syndicate the data, to get the data out where you can actually make use of it, basically make money with it, to sell stuff or get advertisement or get clicks or whatever. So you can get the data out to websites, catalogs, brochures, etc. The great advantages of a PIM, a product information management system, is to have a faster time to market, meaning when you have new products in your portfolio, to sell them faster than without a PIM. You have a higher conversion rate due to the fact that you have a better data, better descriptions, better images, which leads to higher revenue and then eventually to a higher margin. So this is just covering the PIM section. Dirk, we can continue now. Now we're coming to the point, what actually is clean data and why do we need it? We all know that not only customers need good information when they buy things, even companies, especially since COVID, are also very much dependent on information they get from online sites, from websites, or from brochures. And because we still meet people in real life, but not as much as we did before COVID. So it's very important, even for the B2B business, to get your data clean and attractive for potential customers, which could also be other companies, of course. Therefore, if you want to increase your business, it really helps to improve your search results on the, like the SEO things, and to have attractive images and the relevant data presented to potential buyers, as well as to have the right information on social media platforms. The goal is to be more attractive, more competitive, more persuasive in the B2B business, as well in the B2C business. But every business is more dependent on good data now. We have an example of an electrical distribution company here. And we're talking about two big sets of data, the mandatory and the enriched portion. The mandatory data is what you must have when you want to sell a product or a service, like the brand name, the description, maybe a manufacturing part number, and some product images. There's other data that is not mandatory, but it does help increase the conversion rate and the sales a lot. For instance, having 360 images, or having PDFs of the cut sheets, and all kinds of other material that is relevant for the buyer to make a profound decision, and to transport the feeling that he's in good hands buying things off of you, because you provide the information he needs to know and that is relevant for him. And this can make the difference between you and your competitors for your revenue. So we are talking about our hot 7 product data characteristics. Those would be the description. Every data record needs a description. We need images. We need special keywords, for instance, to improve the ranking on the search engines. We need preferences, the technical specs, some additional assets, like already mentioned, the brochures or videos, drawings, technical drawings, and the industry standards, industry numbers, or logistics data. If you get all of this data in a clear and attractive way out to the customer, to the buyer, that can increase your website visits, because it's more easy to read, more attractive to go there and find things. You increase your consideration, and that will eventually lead to increased sales. Okay, Dirk, now I'm done with that. So we're talking about having to find smart goals. And when we are talking to organizations, we have to set goals, and the smart terminology means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So that means we want to set goals that make sense, that are precise, that we can actually get done, and we have to set a date by when we want to get these goals done. But that's not everything. There, talking with companies, or with potential customers, or with people who want to improve their data quality, or introduce a new PIM system or something like that, we have to consider 4 major aspects. These are, number 1, the organization. Like, who are the people we're talking to? What are their roles and what are their responsibilities? How is that organization built up? The second point we have to consider are the processes. How do they work? What are the workflows? How is everything organized at the organization? We also need to get acquainted with the knowledge and find out, what does each and every person that is in contact with us know about the topics we were introducing here. So some might have a greater technical understanding than others. Others might have a greater strategical understanding than others. So we have to make sure we know what they know, we find out where everyone stands, and then we can ramp up the knowledge of everyone there, so all can understand where we're actually heading. And the 4th point are the tools. What programs are they using? How do they work with certain things? Today, most of the tools are, of course, software tools. Do they have a PIM, or what is their ERP system, and things like that? And one major big aspect we might not forget is the culture. How do we say? Culture eats strategy. So no matter
for breakfast,
culture eats strategy for breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no matter how good we are in covering the first 4 points, if we don't learn about the company culture, and if we don't take that into consideration, we might fail. So we have to make sure that we get a complete picture of who the people are, how do they work, what do they know, what tools are they using, and how's their whole living together and working together culture. And that will enable us strongly to set smart goals with them. So then we can take a look at the organization. How is it normally set up? We have the decision makers on the top, the sponsors and the top stakeholders, the data governance council. They will eventually make the decision what to buy and what not to buy, or they will approve the budgets. Then we have the steering committee and the data owners. They have the operational oversight. They're responsible for rules and policies. So they are also in a strategic role, but not as much as the top level, of course. But they are in, let's say, in the middle, because on the lower end of the pyramid, we have the data stewards and the custodians, the working groups. Those are the people who are actually dealing with the data, that have to put in the data and do the work with it. So they're not less important, even though they might have less impact on the decisions, and they're very relevant. So we have also to make sure to cover them as well, because if they don't support any new workflows or strategies or software, the whole project might fail as well. So we need to make sure we act on all 3 levels to get a new thing rolled out, and to get in touch with everyone, and to get acceptance of all 3 of these levels. And now we're coming to the actual data cleansing point. Here you can see it as a washing machine, because we're doing the data laundry. It starts at the top with the data import. So from some sources, we might get data into our system. In the PIM area, it's usually product data that is being imported from some source, and it can be in any state and shape. So it could be really good data or really bad data. No matter how, we get it into the system. And the first thing that is normally done is merging the data sets. So sometimes we're lucky and we already have the respective data record already in the system, and we might get the same product, a data record that describes the same product, but maybe with some new attributes that we don't have already, maybe some that we have with a different value, let's say same product but different description, or it we don't have them at all. Then we can create a new one. The next step is rebuilding missing data. That means we might have the data in the system now, but let's say we don't have any assets about technical drawings. We still have them on paper. So we would have to digitalize those and add them to the system. So any data that is missing has to be rebuilt in that step. Next thing is standardization, meaning we have a set of attributes that we definitely want to make sure that those are filled. This can be done by using a certain taxonomy or other things, but we can say we want standardized data where like one data record, like all data records have to look, have the same structure. Data normalization, the next step, means that sometimes a value can have a specific description. So it's not yes or no, but it could be a color. Let's say light blue, and then you import some data that is sky blue or bright blue and all of that. They could all mean the same. So standardization means we add some value lists and make it blue. And then we might maybe miss some detail here, but at least we have normalized data. So everything that is lighter blue might be lighter blue, and we have dark blue, maybe that. But we don't have sky blue, celestial blue, and bright water blue anymore. So we have normalized data using the value lists. Then we can deduplicate the data, meaning if we have double entries that have not been merged properly in the second step, this can be done now. So sometimes same products, but different name. The one company calls it this way, another company calls that way. We have both imported and the system keeps it as two separate records. We can deduplicate and make sure we throw out one of them, or we merge them together to have only one set of attributes left. And then we have a verification and enrichment, just to make sure we have it right. And after this step, the data is actually ready for exporting out to wherever we want it. Normally it's catalogs, websites, brochures, print media. Yeah. And from then on, the cycle starts again, and we get new data, and we have to let the washing machine, the data laundry machine do their magic again and get the data in and help us to keep golden records, which means this is for every product, one data record that has all the attributes we want, and no duplicates, and very precise, clear data that is appealing to a potential customer. Dirk.
Yep. Well,
If you
give me 1 second.
if you
Oh.
want to go to the next slide.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's still not coming.
Because if you want to inform yourself about PIM and product data and data cleansing, there are several sources you can go to. It's Wikipedia, Techopedia. There are special books about it. This is also, you can find videos on YouTube, and you can get information on the data quality software vendor websites. But let's talk about some of the tools we can use to get our data clean, Dirk.
Yes.
So some of the data governance tools that can be used to work with is, of course, Excel. There's also used as a PIM replacement in some companies, but of course, Excel is a very powerful tool. It's good, but it's not. It cannot be used as a PIM. It can be used for data governance. Also, Informatica Cloud data governance, also a tool for data governance we can use. Some of the ETL tools we have is Informatica, CDI, CDQ, Talent, Colibra, and Python, especially PyTorch. And for reporting, we suggest Power BI. But of course, this is just a small selection of tools that you can use. There's more. We can also talk about the tools that you already have. If you have already tools in some of these areas. This is just an example of tools that might help you in case you're looking for some. Okay. And then we want to get to the point where we can have some tips and tricks from the household practitioners. That's on the next slide. So we have to start with a strategy based on the SMART goals. So when we get in touch with you and you want to get clean data, we will set some SMART goals, and based on that, we will create a strategy to get that done. the second thing is to define a data quality standard, so we know to which degrees it has to be precise and clear, and also what kind of things are important to you, what is the standard that the data has to reach. It's very important to assign owners to the data elements, meaning these are people that are responsible for certain areas of data. Let's say if you have a lot of different data areas, let's say clothing, and then you have a completely different branch of electronics, and the more you have, and especially depending on the amount of products, there might be different people being the data owners who are responsible for the quality of the data. And that makes a lot of sense, because only if you have people with responsibility, we can actually work with those. The next thing is the the enterprise taxonomy. So the taxonomy, for those who don't know exactly what that means, that is basically a hierarchy, how we group certain products in the system so that it makes sense from several different perspectives. So we might have a taxonomy for the internal use of data, so it makes it easy to import data and organize it in the system for internal use. But we also have to think about the potential buyers and the customers, and they might want to see data a little bit different. So it makes more sense for them to have a better buying experience. So we might have several taxonomies, which means hierarchies where we can put in the data, and attached or directly connected to the hierarchy, there is a certain set of attributes, which means fields. Like every data record has to have these attributes in that category. For instance, if you have a category with technical products, it's relevant to know about the energy consumption they have. And that value is totally not relevant for the clothing section. There's people who sell electronics and clothing, and so energy consumption is relevant for the electronics hierarchy, and for the clothing you need sizes, which are not relevant for the electrical things, because refrigerators, they don't come in large, small, and medium. I mean, they have different sizes, but you cannot buy the same one in different sizes and colors as you do with t-shirts, for instance. Having that set up, we establish a single source of truth. The single source of truth and the golden record, that's always referring to the same thing. We want one system in the company, that is the product master data, or the PIM system, where all the product data comes from. Comes from means from there it is being exported. That means all product data should get into the system from various sources, then go through this data cleansing cycle, as we've seen earlier, and to produce these golden records as a single source of truth that can go out into the world, onto the website, the catalogs, and everywhere. So that when you make a change, let's say you want to change a description, you only have to change it on one location at this single source of truth. You change that one attribute, and everywhere it will be changed, and you don't have to go to 10 different systems and do the changes 10 times. Together with the product information management, you can also have a DAM, which is the digital asset management, that will manage all the files attached to a product, the images, videos, drawings, PDFs, brochures, and all that things. They will be in a separate system called the MAM or DAM. It's either media asset management or digital asset management. And that is the big advantage of that is that sometimes products have the same picture. So you don't have to upload the same picture several times into the system. You can just reference which of these media assets are relevant for your product. Let's say you have a catalog including 1,000 products. You don't have to add that same PDF 1,000 times to each of the products that are in the catalog. You just make a reference, 1,000 references to 1,000 products in the catalog to that one PDF, and that's it. So you save a lot of system resources and a lot of time, especially if you want to change something. You can change it on one point and all 1,000 products will be updated simultaneously. And last, but maybe the most important tip here is to get professional help. And talking about professional help, I wanted to introduce you to our service that we provide. So if you compare data to laundry, and we know it is not the exact same thing, but let's say you have data that is not so clean, which is a little bit messed up because it comes from various sources and no one has really gotten to cleansing out the duplicates and enrich the missing attributes and things like that. And we can help you. We would begin with your data. So just as you go and go to the cleaner where you bring your laundry, you could come to us, bring us your data, and we will make sure that we will fully prepare and organize your data. We will set up taxonomies and create a clean data stream that you can use with your PIM system. And then with that clean set of data inside your PIM, you can now enrich and merchandise your product content with ease as never before. And then the fun part begins because you have such good data and your websites will be more attractive and your sales will go up. You will have less hassle making changes, and you will also have less data clutter in the databases. So that makes even the system performance will increase as well as the sales performance. If you're interested in that, you can go to datamates.com, and that will redirect you to our digital consulting house website, and you can get in touch with us and make an arrangement. Okay, Dirk.
So now we are turning it around, and the question goes to you. How do you measure your data quality? In which shape is your data? Where are your challenges? Or, well, if you have questions, you can answer them all right now. For that, we are going into the roundtable now. And if you want to say something directly, we are not such a big group, but still, I think everyone stayed at the end. So that's great already. Thank you for your attention. You can just unmute yourself, or you can just type your question into the chat, and we will also pick it up from there. So, well, feel free if you want to just jump in, unmute yourself, introduce yourself, ask your question, or provide comments to the presentation we provided. That is also appreciated. Any feedback as well. Like always, there will be a recording of this, and we will also provide the presentation deck to the participants of this presentation as well. So if you have any questions, just unmute your microphone, shoot, or write a chat here to everyone.
And while people are still thinking, maybe Dirk, you want to explain a little bit, elaborate a little bit on the datamates.com.
Yeah, that's not really a big deal. So just use the URL datamates.com, and from there you will be guided to our website. There's actually it goes right into your face, so you can just click on the link. There is a contact form. You can also directly contact us, of course, here via LinkedIn. You can contact us by just phoning us, or send us an email. So there are multiple options how you can get in touch with us and discuss all your dirty data laundry here. Right, so it's nothing to be ashamed of. Most even big organizations have that problem. In particular, manufacturers have the issue when you are growing and by acquiring other businesses. So just recently, we did a project with a company, big company, of course, who had data in 62 ERP systems and 50 PLM systems, lots of duplication, well, we set up their data cleaning operation for them very successfully. Again, we'll all have some experience with it, and we'll be happy to help. So don't be shy. If you have any question here right now, it stays with us and the whole audience. Just kidding. But you can also, if you want to not disclose your data laundry or your dirty data laundry issues, then you can also do that directly with us.
Yeah, I just have a question for me. My name is Ryan Dorschel. I'm the Director of Digital Experience for an HVAC distributor.
Yes.
Called Watsco. We're based in North America and represent several subsidiary businesses. But my question is more around with the advent of AI and LLMs, I'm curious, whether it's disruption, whether it's hype. I guess it's up to the beholder, I suppose. But where do you see the industry sort of potentially changing with this level of disruption?
Oh, yeah, there is right now a lot of change going on, and there is actually there was another event hosted by one of our colleagues where I was speaking to just about AI and ML and how this is changing the industry. And I think it will change the industry in two ways, right? The first way is obviously this whole data cleaning, data laundry, enrichment operation will be supported by AI, right? So generative AI like ChatGPT, just to write your descriptions, that's maybe the easier one. But for instance, classifying products just out of drawings, pull information out of drawings, is also something which will be used to support the whole taxonomy business as well. But even, well, these mechanisms, so AI, machine learning, they require still that you adhere to all the household tips, which you found on that one slide where it says you still need to have proper data for the model, for the ML model, mostly it's machine learning, to actually learn. You still need to have a data governance. You still need to have a taxonomy in place. You have to know where your data is coming, what are the plausibility limits as well of such a model. So everything still applies, but that will like allow you to get faster into uniformly set up data, cleanse data. I'm not saying necessarily, will not necessarily get to good data, right? AI and ML, these are not silver bullets, right? If the basis, if what goes in is not in a good shape or not right, then what goes out will also not be in a good shape and maybe not smell that well, if you understand what I mean, right? The old rule of data. The other thing, and that's the more interesting part, because everyone, like every PIM vendor right now have some kind of AI and ML, and every consultant also will tell you we can use AI and ML to write better descriptions, to maybe even modify the images and everything. They will all do that. But the more interesting part is actually the next step is when you have all that good data in your MDM, then your MDM is the place to ask if you want to know anything, right? So like, for instance, asking natural language, how many of my products have a 360-degree visualization? Or maybe more concrete, which of my 100 top sellers don't have a proper 360 visualization, right? And just get this information out and being able to act on these and maybe tell the software even, maybe probably not to get these images, but to do something with the data. So that will be, I think, the revolutionary part. So like more like Spaceship Enterprise, where you ask the computer, where data or Picard was asking the computer about anything, and even drawing logical conclusions. That is what good data, again, it's good data. It's all about good data. Will enable you to do so, and that will become revolutionary because then we are not just, when we're talking about MDM, we are not just talking anymore about syndication of the information, but getting you into control or in the know of what's going on, which you could never be able to just writing SQL queries into your data, or even just filtering out and faceting out what you're looking for from your products to get real insights. I think that will be the interesting part, and that's what we will invest more in it. We have people in our ranks, and we have one person who also bears my same last name, who will very soon actually do his PhD in data science, and all the focus is on AI and ML, and so you will hear more from Mr. Alexander Grunewald rather than from Dirk Grunewald when it comes to that subject. But again, we had an event. We will put this recording, like we put this recording here as well, on YouTube in the next couple of days. So I think it's worth to watch that as well. And there will be another event in January where we'll just look at, okay, how can MDM help to get information out of your system? And well, we will start actually with how to set your MDM up, and how can AI and ML help to build your golden source of truth. But at the end of the day, that golden source of truth, it will become a treasure for people, like using it in a natural way. Again, most consultants right now and most product companies just talk about the first, but we are already starting to talk about the second. I hope that answers your question.
Ja, sehr richtig. Ja, vielen Dank.
Sehr gerne. More questions. Don't be shy. There's still of the 6 people who were originally here. We still have 5. So maybe one of you still wants to ask a question, like Mel or Melissa or Munesh, right? So whoever wants to, feel free to. Or you just write into a chat, and then I will respond as well. And Ryan, well, at any point in time, just feel free to contact me, right? And we can continue this conversation, and we might be able to help you with some things.
Sure.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else having any questions? Any thoughts? Any feedback? How did we do this?
Very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Then again, thank you very much for taking the time. We know it's either your evening or your lunchtime. So we value that you make us part either of your lunch or of your evening or any time in between. And thank you very much. Have
Thanks.
a wonderful day and great holidays as well. And a good start into the new year.
Thank
Cheers.
you.